Call meeting to order. Shelley, can you do a roll call, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. District 1, Councilman Rios.
Here.
District 2, Councilman Pastor.
Here.
District 3, Councilman Latham.
Present.
District 4, Vice Mayor Stapleton.
Here.
District 5, Councilman Gonzalez.
Here.
District 6, Councilman Shipley.
Here.
Mayor Gameros.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Shelley. Chief, can you lead us in invocation?
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful unto thee for those blessings that we enjoy. We're grateful for this community. We're grateful for those who serve within it, who dedicate time and energy to making it better. We'd ask thy blessings on this body this evening as they deliberate, that they'll do so in a manner that will be a benefit to our community and will be of, that discourse will be able to be in alignment with thy will. And these things we pray for in Jesus' name, amen.
Freddie, can you lead us in the pledge?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
I
We'll start with summary of current events, and Mariano, we'll start with you down there.
Actually, I don't have anything to report, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Fernando,
Nothing to report, Mayor.
ready?
Mayor, nothing as well, thank you.
Mike?
Mr. Mayor, no, I don't have anything today. I'm sorry.
Jesse?
Nothing to report, Mayor, thank you.
Mike?
Wow.
Wow.
Should I go with them?
I guess so. On a roll.
First of all, I'd just like to welcome everybody back from the holidays. I hope everybody had a great Christmas and a nice time off. I know we had an extended time off, so it was nice, and just welcome back and Happy New Year. And then secondly, I'd like to congratulate the Kismet Closet business. Their grand opening was today. And if you don't know what that is, you can rent a closet and sell your items. They're at consignment, I believe. And part of the sale goes back to Kismet, and then you get the rest. So I'm pretty sure you guys filled up pretty quick. I'm sorry I missed, I was supposed to go to the grand opening today. I missed it. I apologize. So, but congratulations and welcome. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Mike. I have a couple of things. Attended the State of the City this week with Governor Hobbs. It was an invite, invitation only. And the thing that she mentioned in her speech was Go Miami. She incorporated and the damage and the flooding that occurred in our community, the commitment that she has to continue to push for the appeal to see if they can overturn what they denied. I believe it was premature. They sent it out on the 23rd, and our final report wasn't due to the 28th, and the amount was much higher than the original. So it was good to hear that she said Globe Miami and the damage, and that was in her speech. It was a full house in the House there, the House of Representatives. So we'll see what happens with the appeal. RCAC had their board meeting here. We were able to do a presentation to them yesterday. There's about 20 or 25 of them here from all over. The furthest was from Washington, D.C. These are board members. Again, RCAC was the original funders of our economic development plan with the BRE, the Building Rural Economies. And 10 years later, they're still with us. And now they brought more. There's some information coming out of RCAC. You'll also be putting more loans out for our area for Globe at a low interest rate, and some could be forgivable. So keep your ear open to that. That should be released here. I think it was released today. On the 20th, Tuesday, Legislative Day at the Capitol, we'll be down there. That's the day we go down there and try and meet with the legislators and see what the agenda is for the bills that are being proposed in this next session. Some that we'll keep track of, and but we'll be down there all day. A couple of us will be going down from council. It's an annual thing before they start the session. And then the 21st is, again, Coffee with the Mayor, 1 o'clock, Copper City's Coffee. If anybody wants to come by and have a conversation, ask anything, and if we can get you answers, we'll do it then. So it's on the 21st, next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. And that's all I have.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, so again, it's been a wonderful holiday season. Like I say, staff was off, or the regular city operations closed between Christmas and New Year's. And that's just a nice breather for everyone. Although we did have upwards a half dozen or more staff working on, we had two flood-related deadlines, a DEMA deadline on the 28th of December and a FEMA NRCS deadline on the 4th of January. And so a lot of staff stayed over and worked on that. But still, it was a good holiday had by all, I think, and everybody's happy to stay and get this stuff done for the flood. Other reminder, just January 19th, we celebrate Martin Luther King Day, and so normal operations, it's a holiday, and normal operations, the city would be closed, City Hall would be closed. That's all I have for you.
Thank you. We have our first community call to public. This is the time anybody wishing to speak to the council with any concerns can do at this time. You fill out a speaker card at the back, and you have, your time limit is 3 minutes, and at that time, as a council, we can't respond to you, but we can direct staff. I don't have any call cards. Do we have anybody online or phone?
No text, Mr. Mayor.
And give me 1 second to see if I can see anybody. No, I see nothing, nothing in email.
Back there.
Oh, we do. Oh, then come on up. Yep.
Yeah.
Are you doing that? Okay.
I'm gonna need your gavel.
I'll just announce and then I'll turn it over to you. It's our annual meeting, right?
Yeah. But we're not gonna announce anybody. I'm just gonna read this.
To amend the bylaws. Okay,
I'm gonna read this,
okay.
and then read that, and then close the meeting. So I'm gonna consideration to accept this amended agenda bylaws.
Okay,
And
so I'm
then,
gonna open the meeting and then read this and then you'll do that.
no, I'm gonna read this first,
Okay,
and then read that.
okay.
Then, now you get to come down and speak at the podium.
Thank you, Joe.
Oh, that's okay, that's okay.
First, we have Anita Ray.
Yes. Hello, I'm Anita Ray. I need a haircut downtown. And I just recently came in to renew my business license for the building. And it was, I don't know how to explain it, but sounded like I was doing the wrong thing, and I've been for the last 10 years. That this has been a code in place that any booth renter in my salon is supposed to have their own separate business license and EIN number and registered through the state of Arizona. And I was also told that it was also a state board requirement, and that is why they were enforcing it this year. I've been at my building it'll be 3 years in May. Never been told this. First I'm hearing of it. I have 2 stylists in my salon that's been doing hair for over 40 years. They've never heard of this. So I did get a little heated and asked, what's going on? She couldn't explain it to where I understood what she was trying to ask for. And so I went and did a little investigating myself. Found that you can get an EIN number without registering a business. So she was wrong there. And I went in the next day and I talked to, I believe it was Tony, maybe? And he explained it and broke it down. And the way he explained it is that it was a code, and what it would help do, how it would protect me as a salon owner, and that they only needed to bring in their cosmetology license through the state of Arizona and fill out the application. Complete opposite of what Miss Helen had told me. So therefore, then I'm like, something's not right, something's not right. Then I was informed that this is not in the code. And so this is where we stand, is what is really the truth? What do we need to do? And why wasn't this enforced 10 years ago when they said it came about? She had told me, Mary Helen, had told me she could go back 10 years if she wants to. And I said, I don't think you could because it hasn't been enforced. Excuse me. And she said, oh, yes, I could. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We just want to get everybody on board. So I agreed. Okay. One of my girls already went and got her business license. I told everybody else to hold off until I got an answer from somebody that actually knows, and us as hairdressers and salon owners understand. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, members of council, I will touch bases with her soon here when I get an opening. And what was the other thing? And then we can talk more about it at future agenda items, because this is heading for an agenda item. So I can't really respond here now, but I can at future agenda items.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get a follow-up and understand it totally.
Yeah.
What the process is.
That's in the works, because it's changed again.
Okay. Okay,
So,
that's all we have. So next we have the Municipal Property Corporation, and Mike is the chairman of the corporation, and he'll open the meeting and discuss what we have for this agenda.
So I hereby open the meeting for the Municipal Property Corporation. I want to take a moment to explain what the city's Municipal Property Corporation is and why it's being discussed at this time. The corporation is a legal tool to the city established in 2007 to support and finance city projects. While it has existed for many years, it has not been actively used to advance any projects. As the city faces increasing infrastructure needs and financial complexity, we are taking a fresh look at tools that already exist to help us plan responsibly. Importantly, this is not about creating something new or moving forward without oversight. Before any use of the corporation, we are updating outdated bylaws, clarifying roles and authority, and ensuring full transparency and alignment with council direction and public accountability. Our intent is to thoughtfully position this tool so it can be used if and when appropriate to support the city's priorities in a clear, responsible, and transparent manner. So at this moment, I'd make a consideration to accept the amended bylaws of the City of Globe's Municipal Property Corporation and make a recommendation to the Globe City Council for final approval. Is there any discussion?
Any discussion or questions?
To summarize, we just modified a couple of things, right? One was that instead of whoever sits on it has to live within the city limits, they have to have own property within the city limits. Is that correct?
Right, Fernando, that's
Okay.
true.
And then I know I was here when we set this up, and so at that time we just knew it was a tool that we wanted to have,
Right.
but we didn't really know how to use it. So we just appointed all the council as members, but we're also going to move away because that's not a good idea. We were told,
Exactly.
so we're going to change that also, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. Anything else? No? Okay, at this time, I'm gonna close this meeting and go back to the city council meeting.
Thank you. So we go to special presentations, and item A is employee recognition of 5 years of service, January 9th, 2026, for Emmanuel Garcia. And it'll be Chief Robinson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to invite Emmanuel up to join me. It's always a great opportunity and to recognize employees who have shown a great deal of dedication to the city. Firefighter EMT Emmanuel Garcia has been with us now for 5 years. He came to us with a few years of experience with Tri-City Fire District, as well as numerous years of experience from the mining industry. During his time with us, he's been extremely instrumental in our technical rescue program, in both our rope rescue and the swift water aspect of that. He brings with him a lot of experience with that. He's been one of the two lead individuals that have really stepped up in that program and spend a lot of time with personnel. Currently, he's assigned as an interim engineer, driver operator on C shift with Captain Gatewood, and has been an important senior person for C shift, as we've had several new hires that have come in that we've had the opportunity to mentor and bring through and work with to make sure they're up to speed and what we're looking for in a firefighter. With that, our hope is that we get to continue to have him. We get to see him advance through the system into leadership roles and continue to play an important part in our department, within the community, and within the community as a whole. We're extremely blessed to have people, especially people locally that were born, raised here, that are dedicated to this community. We're extremely lucky to have those people on board, and Manny represents that, and he's done an excellent job for us, and I anticipate that he's going to continue to do so.
Thank you.
Phenomenal mustache.
Thank you, guys. Just want to say thank you. I appreciate all the opportunities, and thank you, Chief. That was very nice.
Item 4B is the Kismet Foundation will present its donation form for 8 dog waste stations to be installed by Sunt Construction throughout the city of Globe for council approval. And we have Sarah Alexander.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Sarah Alexander, and I am a board member with the Kismet Foundation. Tonight, I'll be sharing a few updates on our foundation and presenting the final plans for the Kismet Pet Waste Stations for your approval, which Juliana presented earlier last fall.
Questions?
Okay, so now let's take a look back at what we accomplished together in 2025, and it was truly a big year. We donated $1,000 to the food bank and completed a full year of the CrossFit Globe Cooler Valley Scholarship, which will continue in 2026. We painted, repaired, and rejuvenated the Gila House, supported Teacher Appreciation Week at Globe High School, and funded over 20 teachers' Amazon wish list totaling over $3,000. We hosted the Furry Friends Festival, where 3 dogs found their forever homes, and ran the Kismet Kids at Hollis Cinema, where kids were able to see 4 free movies, raising $1,500 from sponsors. We donated 30 suitcases and backpacks to the Tribal Social Services Group home in San Carlos, helped fund fire safety education, and began working on installing 8 pet waste stations in downtown Globe, which is why we're here tonight, in partnership with Sunt Construction. One of our largest efforts, and the one we're most proud of, was providing $2,000 to 14 local businesses to support in flood recovery, totaling $24,000. Thank you. We officially opened Kismet Closet this morning, and we're very excited about this new chapter. Kismet Closet is an upscale resale shop where community members can rent individual closets to sell their items. We charge a monthly fee and take a percentage of sales. We currently have 15 closets along with Kismet Corner where donation items are sold. This project allows us to provide a part-time paid position and creates ongoing revenue for the foundation. All January closets are already rented and February is beginning to fill up. Looking ahead into 2026, we'll continue focusing on our 4 main funding areas, each tied to a specific event. And this one isn't listed on the list that you guys see, but I wanted to add that we will be starting the Dream Builder program the end of January. Erica Flores and I will be teaching it, and if you don't know what it is, a women's focused business program in partnership with Freeport. So it runs 10 weeks, and I formerly taught at EAC with SBDC, and we ran 3 cohorts. And it's a great program. So we're hoping that we already have at least 10 women interested, so we're so excited for that. We'll do that in partnership with Kismet. So under community rejuvenation, we'll be focusing on installing those dog waste stations. In our underserved population area, we're going to start the Sunrise Run again, and we're gonna change the name, and I'll show you that in just a second. It's scheduled for April 11th. In our education funding area, we'll continue with Kismet Kids, which will return to Hall of Cinemas this summer, allowing kids to see 6 movies for free. We're going to extend it to 6. And finally, under our animals funding area, we're going to join up with the Humane Society and help them with Dogtoberfest. Proceeds will help fund veterinary vouchers to support families facing end-of-life care for their pets. So the reason we're here tonight is for our Kismet pet waste stations. So as previously presented, shared with the council in early fall, this is a brief summary and request for final approval. So we're partnering with Sunt Construction. They'll provide all labor, materials, and tools. Installation will be 8 pet waste stations installed downtown, coordinated with the city, of course. And then oversight will be Kismet Foundation will manage logistics and sponsor communication, because we're gonna eventually have sponsors at each station. And then for maintenance, we'll provide weekly bag restocking, monthly inspections, liners, and minor repairs, and all supply costs will be covered by the Kismet Foundation. And on the board are the locations that we plan, just pending approval of those local businesses. And then we just wanted to share with you guys our logo for what was the Sunrise Challenge. We're renaming it the Kismet Crawl. And we'll submit our permit for use of Round Mountain, but that's just kind of something exciting coming up. Okay, so the request for the city is final approval to install the stations on city property. So again, this plan was presented to the council in the early fall, so tonight I'm providing a quick summary and respectfully requesting final approval. We've completed the donation submittal forms and are ready to move forward. Any questions?
Fernando.
I just want to share that I'm part of the hospital foundation as well, Miami Rotary. We went together and bought a timing system for races. So,
Yes,
so
they've
we
met
have-
with Cammie, and yes, we're gonna
Okay,
use
good.
that,
Okay,
yes,
good.
yeah.
Because we have that, so, and it's got the electronic devices, so
Yes.
when you start the race,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about trying to keep a time. and-
Yes, Cammie's been awesome with that, yes, thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
Looks amazing.
I know several of the members on the committee, and they've been working really hard for this community for the last couple of years. And I'm still trying to figure out what Kismet is.
Daisy?
You want to come up to the mic so they can hear, we got people online.
State your name, social security number, date of
Well,
birth.
you know, we've always kind of wanted to start a foundation, you know, for Daisy and, you know, myself to help the community, you know. She loves this community. She's born and raised here, and we're lucky to have Erica Flores, born and raised here, Sarah Alexander, formerly Medlin, born and raised here, and they were perfect board members, and Craig Jones heads up a committee, and we have a Kismet action team. If you figure out, here's the board and this is the action team, and they're the ones that really try to get the ball over the 1 yard line, right? But Kismet means fate and destiny. That's what it means. So if you got Kismet in your life, you want positive karma and Kismet in your life, okay?
Okay.
Thanks for having us tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. It's been a few months back since when you first brought this to us, but I've had people come up to me multiple times, many times, that enjoy walking downtown. And one of the biggest complaints that came to my ears was there was dog landmines there that they had to walk over and things like that. So, what you're doing here with the stations, the way stations, I hope that these dog owners and that also walk their dogs on their will take care of that, because this is just making it that much easier for them to take care of after their pets, and so that everybody can enjoy the downtown. So thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
You bet. Thank you also on behalf of all of us, thank you again for the donation. I met with Trent several months ago about what it was all about, and it's amazing to go out and help people and put back into the community. So we really appreciate everything you're doing. We appreciate these donations also for our downtown.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, we need a.
So do we need a vote on that?
Yep, Mr. Mayor, we do need council approval.
So if we can have a motion for approval of the
I'd like to make that
donation.
motion, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the donation. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Thank you
Does
again.
that also approve the locations? So
Yeah.
that's done?
Well, those locations will come approval by the owners, I guess.
Yes.
In the city,
Thank you again.
John.
Sure, John will be in on that.
Did you have anything, John?
Oh.
Oh, yep.
We already approved it.
Council, just to add on, the normal questions on the operational side have been actually answered in the application. And my biggest one would be for the business owners to be aware and have that approval process. And then they'll get with us as far as the blue staking and the placement. And once we're setting that up, that way we can secure the sites when they're doing their construction with Sun Construction.
Good. Good deal.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. So item C, City of Globe staff will present council with an update on the possible demolition of the Rogue building.
John, you might as well come back down.
Do we have Connie or?
She's not here.
No, John and I are gonna tag team on this one. John, because I just wanted to, I have a question for you. This was brought up by Councilman Pastor.
Oh, no, that guy,
Yeah, I know, but, this building has been on our list to demo as soon as we can and can find a way. There was some flood damage, but, it was, and it's on our flood list, but we don't have high hopes, that will be included as part of the DEMA. It's prior damage and, the water came in because the door wasn't, just kind of like pushed in. But it did receive some. If we don't have the money, if we don't get for sure reimbursement, if it's bumped off our DEMA list, we will continue to look for funds to demolition this. I think it's about 90,000 is what for the actual demolition. We have all the background stuff done. I think it's been remediated to make sure it's safe and it's ready to go. But John, I wanted to ask you. You had mentioned when we talked about this, when the building comes down, the wall kind of rests on the building?
Yes, one of the things we looked at prior when they did the remediation of the issues that the building was getting, and we had hoped at that point to do the demo. There's a shared wall, actually, it's not a shared wall, correction there. There's a wall where from the mortuary above it, off of the main road, Hill Street actually drains down there, so that's actually what's created a problem. So one of the things I brought up and mostly making sure when we do the demolition for that site, there's three aspects. There's the wall that's actually adjoining the property. There's a historic home next to it. That's actually the fence line, so we'd have to make sure that we secure that site. But most importantly, the water drainage that comes off of that mortuary site on the back side of the property. That's probably what's created most of the problem there. So we want to make sure that something's stable and actually secured before any demo for that.
Go ahead, Jesse.
If I could just clarify for those that don't know where the Rogue building is, it is right next to the library. Right next to the parking lot.
The DeRose building.
It's, yeah. And it's been, we've used it, it was purchased by the city a while ago, it's in horrible shape. And it needs to come down and make room for the parking lot. We bought it for the parking area. The other thing, and it's gonna, the property owner who has land that is going to, if a high property owner land falls on a lower property owner's land, it is the legal responsibility of the higher property owner to retain that. But we want to make sure we don't just go pull that down and go oopsie.
Right.
So that's why it's a little bit more complicated. And I know this, Rael's here, and this has been something she's been hoping for a long time. And but we have a couple, like say the funding has always been an issue, and more so now. So we're going to keep searching and looking for grants and looking for opportunities. We will find, I mean, some of this stuff is getting fixed slowly, but I can't, Councilman Pastor, I can't give you a date
No, I
certain or a
understand.
funding source.
I just thought it was important to have a little bit of a discussion
Yeah.
about it. Because, there is a drainage pipe there. I don't know, is that drainage pipe that they have there, is that illegal drainage?
It's historic, I would say. So they've done some upgrades to the parking lot up above, but basically they didn't change any aspect because they at that point when they did the lot above, they got with their engineering department. Mr. Barnes was here at that time. So there were some issues on the back side of it, which we drained out towards the TP, which was done correctly and actually inspected by our engineer at that point. But there is some parking lot with the wall, the dimensions of the wall, it's actually almost 2 different levels. And just another point I wanted to bring up, just for the public and for mayor and council, if you don't remember, those of you that weren't fluent with the project, at one point, the city actually looked to redo the building for use. But where we're at right now, there were some AC units or electrical upgrades that were gonna possibly happen. But where we're at now, it's more towards the demo. It's beyond the point of restoring.
I just thought it would be nice to discuss it for a little bit in a
Yes.
city council meeting, just to, Rael and the committee that she has that supports the library has been interested in that, and we've got that information, and that's good. Thank you.
And before we wrap this up, Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is something that we can have additional conversation at the upcoming SAP, along with some of the other properties that we have, various levels of plans for, and how to move forward on that. But again, to satisfy your request, and this is where we're at. It's not the best news in the world, but.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Item D is Globe City staff will present council with an update on the United Fund Salvation Army Residential Flood Relief Program. We have Susan Guerrero, who's a community outreach manager for United Fund. And Maren.
Okay, good evening. Susan Guerrero from United Fund, or Mayor, members of council, and everyone. I'm joined by the Executive Director, Maren Belling, and Santana Lira from the Salvation Army Service Center. So I'm on the agenda in 2 weeks to provide more updates and outcomes of the residential as well as business flood relief program. Tonight, I'm just sharing an update as far as the residential program. So when the program got started, the $4,500 limit for households was kind of arbitrary because we were trying to figure out what the fundraising was going to look like and how many homes were involved. So now that that's kind of done, we're working with Salvation Army. The new limits are up to $30,000 per household of assistance and support. The programs that are going to continue are payments to contractor invoices related to flood repairs. First choice lumber vouchers have been assistance. Cal Ranch vouchers, rental/mortgage assistance up to $4,500 has been a program, utility assistance and laundry vouchers, because a lot of residents have had their washers and dryers damaged. So a couple of new items is, so it's expanded, so more money for contractor invoices, First Choice Lumbers, Keno Floors, and Interiors is also a voucher option for people that need to replace furniture and essentials. And another new item is closing costs and or down payment assistance for people. There's a few that want to get a new home, so we need to support them. So it's just for direct flood impacted people, like it has been the whole time, and it's gonna continue to be at this point. We raised funds for flood impacted residents and businesses, so we're focusing on flood impacted, like from floodwater homes right now.
Fernando?
I have a question. So and this is all hearsay, so it's not admissible in court, okay, but I have heard that there are a few people that were, especially along Jess Hayes Road, that really are just gonna have to walk away from their properties.
Yeah.
Okay, so the problem is that for those people who do rebuild and stay, now we have boarded up unsafe properties that may be stuck there because the city doesn't have money to tear them down. So I'm wondering, is that something that those homeowners might be able to apply for, to at least get the structure off the property before they go do something else?
That's a good question. I mean, that's why okay, so we don't want to leave a bunch of uninhabitable structures behind, for sure. So closing costs and down payment assistance is kind of limited. It's $5,500, so you know, some's gonna probably have to come out of pocket for those people that want to do that. And then the rest of that money would go toward repairing, rebuilding, whatever needs are for the house that was flood impacted. Well, not the rest, if they want to get furniture, you know what I mean, for as far as rebuilding and contract, they're not gonna be able to rebuild, you know what I mean, put that money toward their new home, so.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead,
so
Mario.
in the next meeting, we'll have more detail on activity?
Yeah, numbers, outcomes, yeah.
What's that other big photo?
That'll be in 2
Those were,
weeks.
pledges? Who's pledging into?
Yeah, I'm really excited to share that because it's so uplifting and like it to see all those donations, small, large, that people came up with, and same with the outcomes with businesses. Yeah, and the amounts.
I have two comments. As you know, I've been in the emergency management profession for a long time, and each region eventually comes to terms with what they're faced with, and they band together in a set of one or more committees. And they do the resource gathering and try to divvy up the resources to go out to the public. In my career, it happens every time. Each one is different. This is another case. What I haven't seen, and this is the first time I've seen such a large amount of funding locally generated and pulled together and then turned around and disseminated, especially to the public. It's a large number. And I congratulate you for doing that, because none of us are experts in what's called mass care and recovery. None of us. So it's all new to us. And so I have heard comments to the good and the bad of this particular response. And my response and answer to them is, no one else is helping us. It's up to us to start, and we're gonna make mistakes. It's not that we don't know what we're doing, we've never faced this before. And so using local funding, local efforts, we're learning as we go. Give these people some credit. That's what I defend all the time. Glad to do that. You don't know how many stabs in the back I've had, and I don't care. I'll keep doing that because we have, at this point in time, Mr. Mayor, we have no one else helping us. Not the feds, although 2 agencies, 3 agencies have stepped up. We're taking care of our own. And thank goodness for the internet and GoFundMe and pledges from the large entities within this region. We're doing it. It may not be pretty, but again, none of us have been in this profession before. I've seen committees before with teeny tiny amounts and begging, borrowing, and stealing to help their own in each region that I've seen across the state. So I need you to understand, you're all doing good. Don't stop, and let's go forward together. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, I
Jesse?
appreciate that.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank the United Fund for stepping up in this way. It's amazing to see that it went from 4,500 to 30,000. That's astronomical, and your board should be commended for everything that you've done to step up in this huge way. So I thank you again.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I would say that staff at Salvation Army has really worked so hard. They're pretty certain that they feel that they've identified all of the homes in need, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, everybody thought, with the declaration that the state DEMA was gonna come in with this money bag and help the residents out.
Buyouts.
Or the business people, and it's not gonna happen. The federal's not gonna do it, even if we get a FEMA declaration. What the FEMA declaration may do is open access to buyback programs for these residents that they deal directly with the federal government. So that's why it's important for that designation declaration. But yeah, it's if the United Fund and Salvation Army, Local First, and all the corporations, people that donated, there wouldn't be any money for these people to help them start the recovery process. So we really appreciate it. I know it's been challenging to try and work through it, but we really appreciate that, getting that back to these individuals. Okay, thank you. We'll see you next meeting.
Yeah, see you next meeting.
Item E is City of Globe staff will update council on the water service disconnection agreement with Arizona Water, and we have Travis presenting.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. I'll just give you a quick update on this agreement, just in case you forgot what it's about. It's an agreement between AZ Water and the City of Globe to share some consumption data, water data, so that it helps us, for one, get better accurate readings for our sewer billing. But more importantly, it allows us to go after those who are 90 days or more delinquent on their sewer bills. So that is the goal of this agreement. So we have a way to collect on those sewer bills. And what that would do is we would make that request for AZ Water to turn off the water if no payment program was put in place with that individual account. So in the summer of 2024, we did bring this to the Infrastructure Committee to see if we should pursue this. The Infrastructure Committee said, yes, let's pursue it. It was with the city's attorney and the AZ Water attorney for a good amount of time. They were working out some language. But this past August of 2025, you guys, the council, did pass that agreement. And so it did go to the Arizona Corporate Commission on December 3rd. It did pass there. So currently, the next steps right now, AZ Water is looking into the data to see which shared customers we have. In the meantime, AZ Water in their next two billing cycles in January the 16th and the 27th, they'll be putting out a notice stating that this agreement will be in place effective as of February 1st. So the way that billing is going to work, I just want to note this, that the two districts that are affected of AZ Water Company's districts, they will get the letter, every single one of them, but only about 250 plus or minus of those customers within those two districts actually are shared customers. So I just want to point that out to point out that some customers will get this letter, but it does not apply to them. It only applies to those who have AZ Water connection and city sewer connection. So that's where we're at, and we're hoping to get this squared away and started as soon as possible, effective February 1st.
Travis, will that letter come from Arizona Water, or will it come from the City of Globe also?
It is coming from the Arizona Water Company within their
Nothing
building.
from the City of Globe?
Nothing from the city.
And this only affects these residents that are west of the city?
Yes, because that's where Arizona
From
water,
AutoZone, somewhere in that area to the west is what it is.
correct, a portion of the west portion of the city.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, the majority of our customers are water and sewer, and if there's a problem with the billing, we shut the water off, which shuts off the sewer at that. These are those shared customers, which is only about 250, I think, as we talked about. And so the majority of our customers will not be impacted by this. That small number will get this, but this will allow the city to hold accountable these people who are not 90 days out, not paying their bill and not setting up plans. If somebody can set up, the document talks about, if somebody's on a plan and making arrangements to pay that off, then we're good. These are people who just for 90 days, we have gotten no response. And it's been a goal of council for a long time to get this in place, and with the help of Arizona Water, we have.
And I think, oh, I'm sorry. And I think the original number was pretty high.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's been any, or has it gone down, the number of delinquent customers? I mean, it's in our district, Fernando's district, and I live in that area too. That's who it's gonna affect.
Yeah.
It's gonna be those individuals. I don't know if that's come down.
So I'm glad you asked that. I do have the numbers here. So there are 19 accounts that are delinquent at 90 days or more, for a total of $43,435.25.
Go ahead, Fernando.
We had some people gaming the system, knowing that we would not be able to turn off their water, so they just, and didn't pay.
Effective February 1st, we can
So,
do that once we get the shared customers identified.
you know, and I can see sometimes people get in a hard spot, and I know that we work with them to try to figure out a payment system. But for someone that's been gaming the system for a long time, just because there was a loophole and they knew they could, I don't have a hard time feeling real sorry for them. I'm wondering, is this something that we ever garnish or file, what do they call that when you?
Yeah,
Lien the
put a
property.
lien.
Do we ever lien the properties?
Jody, we haven't gone that far. No.
Because we have some people that haven't paid in
Right.
years.
Years?
$46,000.
Yeah, but if council wants us to start doing that, we're good.
System's gonna work. That's crazy.
Well, at least we're fixing it going forward, so.
And I think Fernando mentioned that we'll work with them, you know, obviously there's some people that fall into a category that, you know, that there's an excuse for not doing it, but there is some that have taken advantage of the. So when we do that though, then obviously there's a shut-off fee, there's a hookup fee once they start again, and there's loss of revenue to Arizona Water. So are they still charged all this? Does that add on to their bill too?
Yes, correct. So we would be responsible for paying that, but which we will just, then again, obviously bill the customer on the sewer side. How that works on the accounting, I think it still has to be figured out, but that would be correct. We'd be collecting that and be paying the invoice that Arizona Water Company sends us.
So we'll still continue to pay their water bill, but it'll be billed back to them.
We would pay it after the revenue has been figured out at the point of time that they turn the water back on, after the fees are paid. Yeah, there's that window at that opportunity to do that.
Any other questions, comments?
No.
Thank you, Travis.
Thank you, sir.
Just 19 people.
Item F is City of Globe will present council with City of Globe flood update mitigation efforts. And we got a list of staff members that are gonna speak, I guess.
Yeah, so we're starting with Connie, and we have, and then we're putting up a couple slides. It's not a PowerPoint presentation, but we have some graphics to go with this. So right now, we'll just start with the header and leave that at there. But Connie's gonna start with a little update on FEMA. And so, Mayor, time-wise, we're looking at 2 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think Connie can do it in 2.3.
1.5.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. My task tonight is to talk about what DEMA is and what FEMA is and what FEMA isn't. It's really easy, as you saw right now. I could get so confused. So the FEMA declaration, the federal declaration, is a federal declaration, not a presidential declaration. even though it's signed by by the president, okay? So what do we lose with not having this federal declaration? We lose an extra 15% with the 75% with state DEMA funds, okay? And then 25% match for the city. If we would have had the federal declaration, then we would have had that added 15%, so then our match would have gone down to 10%, okay? So that's where we lose funding for our infrastructure. And then what else do we lose? We lose the buyout program for the residents, which is very unfortunate. And also some more help with our businesses, which again is very unfortunate. But we do have some residential and some business help through the state level. Okay, so that's where SBA came in at the state level, so they can do so much. They have a dollar amount at that level. With the residents, they have a dollar amount at that level because we are technically just at the state level at the moment. 75%, 25% city match. I would take questions on that right now.
Any questions for Connie?
And so I have one, Connie. The fact that we did not get the FEMA, that has zero impact on our ability to get the DEMA, which we know is, we have qualified for.
Yes, zero impact on the DEMA. Yeah. Okay. So then I'm just gonna take this one step further to the appeals process, okay? So the appeals process, and let me just back up 1 second. So the governor's office and Arizona DEMA made the declaration for us on our behalf through the county. And they made this, federal declaration with Gila County and Mojave County together in one declaration, okay? So they have to do, when they appeal, they have to appeal for both, okay? So we were asked this last week, we were tasked with providing information. So we provided them a letter of support that the mayor signed on council and mayor's behalf. So he signed that. We also provided them with narrative of our event because they didn't have that. And we also provided them with all of the US Census Track 7 through Gila County that tells, would tell the FEMA committee about us. So that would give them all the information about our population, what does our population look like, what's our income, what is our most vulnerable population. We have an aged population, it gives a percentage on that. It also gives them a map, shows them that we're landlocked and that we don't have traditional growth. Because we're landlocked, we have to go up to grow instead of out. It also shows them that we have been, by decades, federally disinvested for federal funding. So now they have the big picture. So what happens from here? So right now, it's all the information we sent, including the mayor's letter, is being reviewed by Arizona State DEMA and the governor's office. And then they will put that together and then they'll advise us when they send it to the appeals. And it'll be a regional appeal, so it'll be the western states appeal first.
And just on the letter that the mayor put together in support of the request to appeal it, that is on consent agenda. The mayor sent that out on behalf of the council, and on consent is to ratify that letter. And it is also available on our new flood control or flood response website that we just put up today, linked off the homepage at the city website.
Questions?
I have one.
Okay.
Just a simple explanation, because you hear on this federal declaration that, is it the president making the decision or is FEMA its own independent group that's doing it, does he have influence over them, or I don't know how that works? Did you hear both?
Yes, you do. And the media right now is having a tendency to sensationalize this very question that you have. But it is a FEMA committee at the federal level making these determinations. So I hope that answers your question, sir.
And so, Ms. Mayor, member of the council, we hope the additional information will turn the tide. It's not normal or not common that they overturn this, but we still have a chance. Fingers crossed.
We have a pretty good chance.
So all this information is going on the governor's request for reexamination of the downline?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
when's that due?
So technically they have 30 days from the day they were notified, and they notified us on the 23rd of December.
Okay, so we're getting close.
Yeah, we're getting close.
And hopefully all council got a copy of that letter. Staff did an amazing job on bringing or putting together that letter, the narrative, and it's a very well-written
Right.
Letter for the
We can make
events
copies and pass them out, yeah.
Good.
Okay.
All right, so I think Gary's up next.
That's 1 minute. Oh.
Mayor and council, as the city manager mentioned, over the holiday break, we faced two different deadlines related back to flooding stuff. The first of those deadlines was the 60-day damage assessment report that was due on December 28th. This is a report back to DEMA. In essence, what occurs is once we apply for public assistance, we then have 60 days to document what we feel was damaged within our community, to include locations, values, and brief, a brief description of what repairs might be with that. It's important to note with that once we hit that deadline, the goal of this is to document everything that we feel was damaged within our community to the extent possible. In terms of public infrastructure, if tax dollars touch it, that's what we're talking about. With that, staff spent an enormous amount of time over that holiday break. Several members of staff in particular spent a significant amount of time going through and documenting those projects. We documented, basically we documented by geographic area, and we documented 116 something different projects. And I believe we have a slide that we can move to on the next slide. If you break that down and look on your screen, you'll see the different categories that we ended up documenting. To a total of $96 million is what we estimated in value to the projects that we documented. Obviously, we do not have and do not intend to spend $96 million. As we've made clear through through this entire process and gaining an understanding of it, is everything in terms of DEMA is a reimbursable expense, meaning we have to expend the dollars before we can even seek to reimburse a portion of that. Currently with DEMA, that portion is 75% with a state declaration. So the next goal is to then go through and identify what can be done, what do we have dollars to do, what have we done already, and work to seek the reimbursement for those things that are done, work to seek the reimbursement or seek funding sources for items that we may have on that list that we feel are that we may be able to accomplish with that. This information we will have available on our website for the city as it's there. That list is what then carries forward. We then have about a year from the event to work on any projects that we feel we can accomplish with that, with dollars that we have available to us, that we can then seek reimbursement for. Are there any questions related to this 60-day?
Fernando?
I just have a question regarding, so let's just say, for example, we have a project that's 5 million. Could we break it up into 5 phases so we can pay $1 million, get reimbursed, pay $1 million, get reimbursed? Is that, or how does that work?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So with this, you know, one of the challenges we have on the DEMA side of things is your reimbursement process is slow. It's not a rapid reimbursement process on your DEMA projects. So in essence, you know, we would be required to expend the dollars, and chances are we wouldn't see those dollars back for a significant amount of time, up to including years.
We have limited time, Mr. Mayor, members of council, limited time to do the construction on this, even to qualify for the reimbursement. And I think it's a year.
It's a year.
Yeah, so.
If we had a federal declaration, it could be out to 18 months, but.
So
Understand.
that's, you know, the reimbursement process is very document heavy. They disqualify a lot, and then the timelines are really short. And it takes, for DEMA, it's 100% money up front, and then we get reimbursed 3/4 of that. Now when we get to Gary, the protected measures is the sediment removal.
Protective measures are items, most of the items under protective measures are items that we've done already.
Okay.
Those are items that we've completed or have a significant percentage of the completion done. Some of it with just documentation remaining to complete in order to be able to try and submit back and see if we can, you know, achieve some reimbursement from them.
But the sediment removal is under which one of these categories?
That would be under emergency protective measures for it.
Okay, and that is the one, now for that, we're using a different program that has what you're asking, do a little work, get reimbursed, do a little work, and Danny's gonna cover that when we get to that part.
And that is the next item on my list to do a quick introduction to, and that's the National Resource Conservation Service program, the Emergency Watershed Protection Program. That was the other deadline that we had to submit for. That was January 8th. Again, there was a significant amount of time invested over that time in doing that. That program does have a more rapid reimbursement program. It's focused on our waterways, and it's focused on emergency measures, like the city manager was mentioning. You know, for instance, sediment removal. Sediment removal as an emergency measure to complete, you know, to try and stabilize that waterway, to help prevent future, you know, any future stuff. With the NRCS program, one of the challenges we have with that is our window is 220 days. So as we work from a time that a project is approved, so for instance, if we submitted for, you know, which we're leaning towards is if we submitted towards sediment removal, we have 220 days to complete that project. The advantage we have is we can take and we can reimburse that money much faster. So we can take a dollar amount invested into it, submit for reimbursement when a portion of that project is complete, and reinvest those dollars back into the next phase of that. So as we go along, and that's where Danny's gonna come in and cover some of what that looks like.
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to her.
I appreciate it. Danny?
Just a comment on the question that Fernando had also. I was present at the county's presentation when DEMA representatives were there, and the amount of money they're gonna have to spend. And they asked them, well, what's the reimbursement process? Is it 1 year, 2, 3 years, 3 years? There wasn't an answer given. It could be 3 years from now if we see any money.
Or longer be.
Yep.
So Mayor and Council, Danny's gonna talk about the DEMA reimbursement process, because we are actually starting the process of making the Pinell Creek safer tonight. We have contracts that are gonna initiate so we can stay within that 220 day deadline, and Travis will be up next to talk about the actual contract. But these are expensive contracts, and so I wanted to talk about the money first, so you kind of know where we're going on this. Danny, go ahead and start, and we'll get to the.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Well, Gary kind of took some of my thunder because I was going to be the wonderful person to tell you we've got positive news. It's not all bad. But the timeline for the NRCS was, it shows January the 4th, that was our deadline. January the 8th is when the application actually had to be submitted to the state. We submitted ours to NRCS to get him to allow him to review it, to let us know what do we have, what do we still need to put on here, does this look good to present? So, and several members worked on it over the holidays to get that deadline met. We've started with the review process as far as getting with an engineer, things of that nature. Like Gary said, there's only 220 days that we have to complete these projects. However, that timeline doesn't start until it's approved. It's been approved through state. It has been passed up to the regional. So we haven't got final approval yet, but it's in the process, we're hoping. There is a 25% match. The NRCS program consists of three contracts. And like Paul said, we will be talking about that with Travis Hilly, explaining those. But the approximate cost for the NRCS program is a total of $22 million. However, currently, our 25% match is only on the 1.2 million. So we are in the process, because it's gonna go in phases. The biggest majority of this will be in next budget year. So we've got to put money in to start, to get things started and to get the engineers in and to get the surveying and things of that nature that need to be done to allow us to give this information to them, showing that we are showing good faith that we're doing this project. At that point, we have the about 150,000 that we wanted to try to, put into this bucket to start with, get everything started. It is a 30-day turnover as far as reimbursement goes. So when we do something, they're going to give us the money. When they give us the money, we're going to put it back in as the part of our match, because we have to have that 25% match. So the reimbursement, we're going to spend the money, but we're going to immediately turn it over and put it back in, reinvest, basically, which is going to help in the long run as far as not having to have so much upfront. So, and that's the plan at this point.
At the end of the evening, in the action items, we are going to have action items to move some money around to make sure that we're ready. So at least we have 150,000 in the bucket for expenditures that we know are coming. When we had expenditures, we had to pay. We had already incurred the services. We didn't have anything in there. This is an optional. I mean, we don't have to do this. Well, I mean, it would be. I mean, technically, we don't have to do this, but we need it since this is optional. I did want to start putting some money in there when we ask council to approve these contracts, that we put some seed money in there to start this process. So when we start paying the bills, then we can get the reimbursement and just build that bucket. We probably won't be the last time we come to you to put money in it, but for tonight, because we're starting with these contracts tonight, we wanted to put some seed money in there.
Fernando?
So I have kind of a budget-related question. So I know that when I talk to constituents and we talk about how big our budgets are, and that's not actually what we end up spending, this is the reason that we build those budgets, so that when something like this happens, we're able to expend the dollars that we need to in order to move forward. Is that, is this exempt from that, or am I missing something?
And the fact that we had baked in, put into our budget a $15 million grant capacity. So we'd always like, well, where will we ever get a grant for 15 million? Well, we're getting a bunch of money. The 75% has to come in as a grant, so we're good. We have that capacity. That is something that we did, that we've always done, and has paid off to this year. But Danny, if you want to add anything?
And we've also got the project reserve that we've set aside, because you never know when you're gonna have a rainy day. So, and that's part of what we're talking about this evening as far as moving to get the bills paid that we've already had to pay our 25% match on that, so,
A very rainy day.
yes, yes, yes.
Danny, question on, the NRCS. So it's 75-25, but if we were to get a declaration, does that affect that to 90-10 also?
No, it does. Oh, okay,
So it would go to 90-10 in
Yes.
the NRCS program, which would be huge for us.
yes. Yeah, very significant amount of money, because it's a lot of money. And
Yeah,
a big
no,
mess.
total between the combination of DEMA and FEMA money, we would only be responsible for 10% across the board. You know, $1 million project, we would be owed 100,000. So it would, like I say, we got our fingers crossed and we'll keep hope for the best. But, and again, that FEMA money is just for public infrastructure projects. It is, there is an aspect, as Connie talked about, for programs that would bring in here in the buyout. But the money that we are not getting from FEMA is money we're not spending on public projects. The DEMA money and the NRCS money is, again, for public infrastructure projects. So it's not for, we're so happy to have the Local First and United Fund to take care of the private sector, because the governments can't do that much for them.
And Paul, you mentioned it, that it's something that we need to do. We have to, as a council, figure out, or as a staff, how, you know, where we're gonna get the money. I mean, our city has changed. And if we go back to doing the same thing again and not preparing for the next one, then that's what we're just going back to where we were before. So there are projects we need to complete.
Yeah.
And I know they're gonna be costly, but we gotta do them.
Well, and we're gonna cover both. Our goal here is to, we can handle this flood event. We can do this recovery without losing speed on our growth projects. We were on a good trajectory. We're getting a lot to get done, and we're gonna keep getting those things done. And we're gonna make it work. We'll scale it to what we need to do. But this is the first project we're doing where like say, we're going out and doing this. There's a lot, it's so important, because this is the biggest fear that I think everyone has, that the creek is higher than it was in August. It needs to come back down, or we're gonna see a repeat of this. So this is #1 priority. On the screen are my portion of this presentation is, where do we get the match? Okay, one thing that we're very hopeful, and so the piece that we haven't told, well, Danny talked about the fact that overall it's $23 million project. We have a $1.2 million contract. That is for the engineering. We will be coming back to you for a construction contract that's gonna be in the 21 million range. Okay, which puts us at a $5 million match. Okay, I will tell you that we will do as much work as we can get done within that 220 days, unless we just don't have the match. We have, this slide shows a lot of those hopeful matches, but we will stop the work if we can't pay for it. We're not going to do the work, and we have to have a balanced budget. We have to operate in the black. And so we will do what it takes and follow the process. We hope it doesn't cost 22 million. We hope, these estimates are always high, and a lot of times there's value engineering and cost savings and things that we learn. But I will tell you, at some point very quickly, we are going to come back and say, we have this construction contract and it's a biggie. So what we're working on right now is on the screen, additional funding options. The best, the most hopeful, and what we want is, we have applied for a waiver of the match with the NRCS, and that would waive it from 25 to 10. Okay, that has been approved at the state level and has been sent off to higher ups. They said headquarters. I don't know where headquarters is, but it's in the works. And so until we get something in writing that we're at a 10% match, we're gonna run this like we're at a 25% match. Okay, that is our most hopeful. Second thing that's out there, Gila County flood funds, SB 270, I missed a zero in there. And our thanks to the county, was the county manager here?
He was here.
Yeah, no, Mr. Menlove went to Representative Blackman, and they put together a bill. It's 2070, and I screwed that up. It's actually HB 2070. I apologize, and that is $25 million for Gila County flood relief. It includes municipalities and other entities. Representative Blackman is running that. We are going to be very helpful and supporting that. I think we have the message. We'll team up. It'll help Miami. It'll help us. It'll help San Carlos, I believe, and help the county. I think I dare to say the county has probably a bigger hill to climb on these funding than we do, but we will find that will participate, and if that goes through, that will help us. We're already talking about congressionally directed funding. We've always done that, and we're steering those requests now to flood recovery money. We have, and now we go to a list of different sources. I'm not going to go into great detail on these. The Emergency Watershed Protection Program, that is the NRCS long term. If we don't get everything done in the 220 days, the projects will be engineered, and then we will wait and get more funding after that 220 and use that funding to finish it off. We'd like to get in the 220 because we're at the mercy of the weather right now. And then we have the regional partnerships, and we're talking to everyone. We have FHWA funds. These are federal highway, and they're looking at some road projects that John will talk about later, just some of the work in the bridges. We have SHPO will help with downtown redesign. We have WIFA loans, which are going to help on our sewer side, because we still need work to do on our sewer. We have public assistance grants, hazard mitigation grants, and then what I call the small alphabet soup grants. There's a bunch of agencies. I didn't want to just plug them in there. I couldn't even be able to tell you what they were, but every small agency has a little bucket of money that we may be able to. So it may be one, it may be the waiver, it may be a couple of them, it may be all of the above. But we will, while we're moving forward, we can't wait to have them till we know where the money's coming from. If we wait for where we know the money's coming for the match, it's gonna be too late. So we move forward with the contract, and we're gonna get done when we can get done, and while this hand's working to do the sediment removal, we're gonna be over here looking for money to pay it, and we'll just keep filling that bucket and rotating it around, and hopefully at the end of the day, the chain from Matlock down to the sewer plant will be equally mitigated for safety, and we'll get it done that 220. So that's I hate to tell you, I don't know where the money's coming from. I can tell you where we're looking, and I trust that we will be productive. So, questions about that?
And if we don't do it, we're gonna be in a jam, so I mean.
Well, if we don't do it, we'll have to find it somewhere, or we'll have to ratchet back a little bit. If we have to ratchet back, and we'll see. So maybe we get the sediment removal, but we don't get the shotcrete done. And that's okay. It's the sediment removal, getting the channel balanced out and deepened. That's the main thing. But we're not going to wait until we get this all figured out. We have a goal. We don't really, and we have a plan, but we don't have all the pieces in there yet. But it will fall into place. We've done this before. Thank you, and I appreciate your trust.
Mr. Mayor, we're gonna be able, the Corps of Engineers is gonna let us get in the creek.
We already, and we have a copy of that. There is an existing, and again, thank you to the county who already has an entry permit that we can get in there and do this work. That's always been a hiccup. And then and we will talk about the other hiccup, which is the right of entry, and that'll come up after Travis's, where he's going to talk about the actual contracts. But Mayor, you have a question. So.
Mr. Mayor, we're about to enter into our strategic action planning cycle, and we've got a date set, and we'll be discussing many things. I want to float one thing before we get into that to address this. The flood that occurred in '54 and the construction that went on in the channel is what we saw, the result, the thing that happened on the 26th. It jumped the banks. It was beyond what happened in '54. And now people are asking us, what are we doing about the future? With all of this activity, we're addressing it, but it's only one of several components. The other component, back when I was retiring from division, Western states were coming up with the concept of adding to their governments the office of resiliency. I had a long time getting my arms around, but I finally realized with this what they were trying to do. It's not contingency planning, it's not mitigation planning, it's the widest set you can bring to view what you're facing going into the future. So a resiliency director looks at that big picture of the region, private and government and other entities of that region, and what they're doing to build an effective response to any hazard into the future. It is also the responsibility of that office to tell the government, in this case the council, the pluses and minuses that have occurred in the region. So you have tabs on flooding, you have tabs on construction, you have tabs on strengths and weaknesses of your surrounding partners. So it's a big picture view, reviewed every year and presented to the council, a council. So that gives you the responsibility to look at what you've been given and to decide how you as a council are going to attack it. It doesn't mean anything except that you've taken stock of your world and you can proceed with some planning into the future to attack some of the things that need to be done in your particular area of the vineyard. And now I get it. People have asked us already, what are you doing about the next flood? Well, it may not happen for another 60 to 75 years. What's our way forward? Well, we look to our resiliency director to tell us the state of the world of Globe Miami, the pieces and parts that we're responsible for, and then how do we address improving them? And then we've always done it using a strategic action plan. We've never had an emergency director, and now we may need a resiliency director or a department that tells us of these things as we go into the future. Oh yeah, he said we got to do this. Is this year or is that a next year problem? So we have a way forward. And I recommend we consider that a department that will help us do that. Because right now, no offense to our staff, we have nothing going into the future that addresses this component. There's many players in this region we have no jurisdiction over. Just name them, the federal agencies, the Forest Service, the state. They all have their piece of the pie and their responsibilities. Did we know on September 26th what they were about to do? Of course not. A resiliency office or department might do that for us, is all I'm saying. So the next time it happens, we just check down the list. Okay, they're pretty good in this area. Tonight, in this area, they're not so good. We're gonna have to focus on this a little bit. So the big concept is a resiliency department answering to the mayor and to the city manager and council that may give us things to look at in an annual basis as we develop our strategic action plan. And I would be able, as a councilman, to say we're looking at it and we have a system and it's addressing it. We've already identified several things we need to do. We need an emergency plan. We need an emergency operations center. These are things that came to light that night. I'm talking about a long-term process of knowing where we're going into the future in the area of preparing for the next disasters. There's going to be more than one. And we have a way forward with an office that does that for us.
And I'm sure
it's been done in Denver. It's been done in other large cities in the West. I don't know about the East, but in the West, it was quite the phrase when I was retiring. So I'll leave it at that.
And staff is very ready to have this conversation with the SAP about what we are doing. So council can ask that question, how are we gonna prevent the next?
How are we gonna fund it? Who are we gonna, those many questions there, but that's all I wanted to point out.
So we're moving on to Travis, and Danny is, thank you, Danny. And again, these presentations should cover the not require us to have a presentation in the later items. So Travis, we got 3 contracts coming up, huh?
3 contracts coming up under the this NRCS funding that we're going to be doing under that funding element. 2 of them are on the agenda tonight with Civil Tech, and the first one, that being, they're going to help us with that CMAR or the construction management at risk procurement. So they're going to assist us in that process, just because simply we've never gone through that before. So what that entails is basically they'll help us coordinate, develop some cost development of the cost, and some technical support on that process. So and I can explain that a little bit more when we get to the contract, but it's just to help us assist in setting everything up. The second contract we have tonight with Civil Tech is to do the actual civil engineering of the sediment removal and the embankment stabilizations, which could include shot creek, gabion baskets, or any other sort of methods that will help the stabilizing the embankments of the Upper Pinal Creek within our city limits. And but as it was mentioned earlier, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, you know, through this design, even if we identify every area that we can do the embankment stabilization, that doesn't mean it's going to be covered in the 220 days. So at least we get the design done, it's covered under the NRCS funding. We'll at least have that for future, and we can figure out if it's not covered in that 220 day time frame, we can look for other funding to continue that work if that's the case. The third contract that we will eventually bring back is the actual CMAR, the construction manager. So we're identifying companies as we speak, and looking at a few. What we're planning on doing with the two contracts with Civil Tech, it is through a cooperative state contract, and we're also planning on doing that with the actual construction management contract as well. But we are looking at one, and hopefully be able to bring that to you as quickly as possible.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, and to Travis, we're going to bring, Chris is here, the engineer that is going, from CivTech, that is going to be doing the work. He had participated in the Coconino efforts, and he has presented on this to groups. He is an expert and has recent experience. We also are looking at a company that was highly involved in the Coconino project, and worked with CivTech at the same time, and worked with the Coconino Flood Control District. They have experience doing this. We're trying to lock down the procurement method, but I will tell you that it is somewhat specialized, and it is important that there's a relationship between the engineer and the construction company, because they're going to be doing the same thing. They'll be doing some engineering, pass that off to the construction company while he does more engineering, and it's going to be this pass off. It's not going to be we're going to do everything and then go get the construction company. As Chris had said, this CMAR risk has to happen that way. You can't get it done in 220 days. Now, this construction company that we're looking at is, as many we've learned that come to Globe, do tend to hire local people for certain tasks. So we haven't left our locals may find, our local companies may find that this company they may be able to work out some things with that. But for the specialization, and especially for the time requirements, we are looking for someone who can hit the ground running fast, has experience, has relationships, and that's why that's where we're going on this big contract. Now, with that, I'd like to invite Chris to kind of talk about your scope and what you're going to try to accomplish in 220 days. In 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor, and members of the council. I'm Chris Duza with Civil Tech Engineering. It's my honor to be here in front of you tonight. So our scope of work, it's not just Civil Tech. I'll start out, with that. There'll be a lot of entities working with us, including, aerial mappers, geotechnical engineers, utility locating, those sorts of things. As well as you mentioned, we'll be working hand in hand with a CMAR, construction manager at risk. So really, our scope of work is the best way to think about it. It's a two-phased or a two-pronged scope of work. So what we immediately want to do is hit the ground running with the sediment removal in the creek. There's places in the creek that the sediments are graded about 8 feet in some places. So it's limiting the carrying capacity of the creek to carry water. So again, you have another event, we have limited capacity now. So the first thing we want to do is develop those plans and work with the construction manager at risk to start moving that sediment out. We've estimated about, might be upwards of around 200,000 cubic yards of material that's going to have to come out of there. So that's the first thing we want to do. We want to get them working on that, spending that EWP money in our 220-day time frame. As we're doing that, we'll develop a second set of plans, which will be the bank stabilization plans. Hopefully things will align with property rights, with drainage easements, with all those sorts of things. And we can begin, if not complete, the construction of those bank stabilization measures. But the most important thing we want to do right now is make sure that we get that creek cleaned out and give it some capacity, including, at the bridges and culverts, get those all cleaned out and open back up. So in a nutshell, that's what we'll be doing. The construction manager at risk process, as they've mentioned, is a little bit different than probably what you're used to seeing. A traditional design, bid it, build it. We really don't have the time for that. So that's the advantage of the CMAR process, is bringing them on. It's really a partnership. It's a partnership between Civil Tech, the city, the contractor. It's going to be a very accelerated process to get as much work as we can possibly get done within that 220-day time frame. So with that, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. One thing I would like to mention, or just to clarify when I was listening, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding with the EWP funding, there's essentially two buckets in the EWP. There's construction funding, and that's the match. That's that 75 or hopefully a 90% match. But then there's TA funding, which is the technical assistance funding. And the TA, which we fall under, will be covered 100% by EWP. There's no match on that.
Oh, okay.
So please verify that, but that is my understanding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
So next up, we have Melissa. So an important part of getting Chris and the construction company ready to go is to make sure that we have the legal right to enter all portions of the creek, no matter who. And so Melissa's going to quickly explain the three-part process. We're doing this in-house, and we're doing education, right?
Yes. So, good evening, Mayor and Council. We are going to start with education. And to start that, I just want to let you know that the city only owns about 10 to 15% of the creeks within city limits. So 80% of the property owners need to know that we need to work with them. For the work to get done that they want to do, we have to have them coincide and let us on their property, basically. It's illegal not to. Collaboration, best practices. First, we're going to start with a right of entry, which is a simple form that lets us get in there, lets the contractors get in there and the engineer to say, this is what it looks like, and we're going to do our survey. Legal information, and then after that is a temporary construction easement, which is a TCE. The TCE allows them to do the work for a temporary amount of time. It doesn't last forever. And then third, depending on what the survey and other things happen, that would come down to ongoing maintenance, which would be it might come out to like a quit claim if the person can't take care of their property and we need that property. It might come out to a permanent drainage easement situation. It really just depends on what happens there.
So we're going to handle this in-house. We're not jobbing this out to anybody else. This is very personal, not personal, but it's a very local thing to talk to these property owners. Melissa is heading this function up because it is communication, and we think we'll be successful. Questions?
Go ahead, Fernando.
So, hypothetically, we have an absentee property owner that cannot be contacted. So does that mean we can't touch that part, or is it more they just refuse to let us on and let us do it?
We're working through a process and we have documents with our attorney. And at some point, we have different ways we'll ratchet up our ability to get on that property. For given the time, I don't want to go into that, but we cannot come up with a scenario where we don't get on the property, but we hope that we never have to go to that point. So, but you can't let the concerns of one person, when it puts everybody else at danger, there are methods to make that happen.
We are planning to do door-to-door communications as well, packets, information, social media, radio, the whole 9 yards. So we're gonna be getting that information out there. It's gonna be a lot of boots to the ground, hard work, but.
John?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just to add, piggyback onto that question, historically, when we had our 21 floods, there was actually only 3 properties that we had a little bit of additional conversations with. The majority actually filled the paperwork out, but a lot of the areas that were in the Globe vicinity actually is bigger, anywhere from the railroad to the mine. So those sites, there's a big majority of that area that's actually with the railroad. So we'll be meeting with them as well. But historically, we haven't had any issue. There was just those 2 to 3 that we had.
Just a question, Paul, those easements that we get filled out, they're only temporary. Once we do the work, then it goes back to the property owner?
We're doing a 2-phase, well, 3 phases, but we're gonna get the temporary so we can get going. But we're gonna continue to communicate with those property owners and work through for certain property owners, we are gonna ask for a continuation where it goes into the future for maintenance. If we stay ahead of the maintenance, then we won't have to get on their property, and we won't have these events. But Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, if I may, I should have explained that better. So the right of entry, it's not a recorded document, it's a simple document that just gives us permission to go on the property. That's going to allow us to come in and do our initial work with the surveying, the geotechnical engineering, the aerial mapping, the utility locating. So that allows us to get started, the right of entry. The sediment removal from the creek, we'd like to do under a temporary construction easement. So again, those are not recorded documents. They are easements, but they will expire at some date post-construction. We would only really want to pursue the permanent drainage easements in areas where we're going to be doing the bank stabilization, where that would be, ultimately operated and maintained by the city. We would want to have a permanent drainage easement in those locations. But
So that means owning it. The city would own it in order to do that, future maintenance, okay?
the city would be they would be the beneficiary of the easement. The underlying land itself would still be owned by the property owner, but the city would have the rights to the easement and the structures that are constructed upon it.
And to council, mayor and council and Councilman Shipley, your scenario where you have somebody that's not resistant but just not available, that is probably the worst case. But we're gonna just keep learning from what Chris knows, what Lucinda knows from Coconino, and just ratcheting it up as we need to do. And hopefully we don't get to that point, but we're prepared for that.
Freddie?
Yeah, just a little clarification. Did I hear a temporary construction easement?
Yes, sir.
But then it would be perpetual if we're gonna maintain it. So how does, it sounds a little.
So there's 2 different easements.
Yeah.
So there's the temporary construction easement, which is a temporary arrangement where we're allowed to go in and do the construction.
Okay.
The permanent drainage easement is where they would give the easement to the city,
That makes it perpetual.
which makes it perpetual for ongoing maintenance.
Right, but for the purposes of getting in there as quickly as we can and getting the sediment cleaned out, we just want to do a temporary construction easement. It's a little more of a process, especially with, there may be partnerships, there may be mortgages, and you have to get lenders involved and all those sorts of things with those permanent easements. You don't with the temporary ones. So the idea behind the temporary construction easements is really just getting us in there so we can do the work quickly.
Okay.
Fernando?
Sorry to be a pain tonight, but, so my other question is, I know that with some of the other groups that I've worked with, we've had to worry about LOMARs or something like that, so if we put some kind of structure or retaining wall, is that something that we gotta get permission for, or as long as we don't try to raise the level, or how does that work?
Yeah, that is a good question. So, there is an ongoing study that's happening right now that's being done by Atkins. It's been going on for about 5 years, and I have reached out to the project manager, who's doing that study. Unfortunately, the basis of their study that they're doing right now is pre-flood. So the creek's changed. So everything that they've done is kind of no longer valid right now. So I don't have a firm answer, for your question. We should be able to get it all permitted through the flood control district with bank stabilization. We're not looking to restrict flow in any way. So I don't anticipate that we would have any problems, having the bank stabilization permitted through the flood control district. But to your point, that whole remapping effort that's going on right now is kind of in question, I guess, right now. But that's one of the things that we have requested, is that through the consultant and through FEMA, that if we can get that mapping that was done pre-flood event, so that we can see what the creek looked like before that, I think it'll be helpful for us to restore it to at least, what it was pre-flood.
Thank you.
All right, so next up is John, just a quick review of, we're moving on from the creek, and John, just a very quick update on sewer system and our bridge system.
Just really quick, I'm gonna just go over as we all talked about the NRCS list, the FEMA list, the DEMA list. So basically, all these have been incorporated. At some point, we're looking at additional funding sources. Also, I met with the Federal Highway, actually staff, and we took them on a tour as well. So on that big list that we have, at some point, that's why it's really important to bring on Civil Tech as well. One of their indicators there was said to make sure that we have, the design and actually some cost accrued and actually for that work. Because at some point on our main list, it may not just be through NRCS, it will actually be from the federal highways. That work could be done there, and that's extending the gabion walls, doing a lot of the work, actually the washouts that have been affected. That's only per the bridges. So we visited 4 sites through town. There's actually 3 to 4 that are actually ADOTs, but having them come through town, they actually did analysis on those as well, but that's with ADOT and them to work out. The ones that were immediate would be from the Reese Bridge, Cottonwood was not, actually that was a newer bridge, that was actually off system, so actually that one's ours, but that one did not receive significant damage, but the sediment removal was talked about at that point, that would be on the other equation. So we'll be looking at that. One of the other things when we talk about infrastructure, the avenues that we may take for additional funding, staff, myself, actually the group met, and we will be possibly looking to come back to Mayor Council at a later date. We're closing out the current WIFA that we had prior for the community center development area. That's finally finished off. We're closing that WIFA fund out, but we may come back to you at a later date for additional funding. There was going to be possible $4 million for sewer and $2 million for water. So that we're pretty much working on the list now, the initial list, and then for the alternate list. And some of that could be for also grant match for one of these other projects that we have coming up. Do you want to?
And Mayor and Council, so we had over $1 million in work on our sewer system that we've already had done. All right, and that's come out of the work, the money that we had for our future growth projects. So we had hoped to avoid WIFA loans because we had a bucket of money that was substantial, but that has had to go to the flood. It may get filled back by DEMA later, But to get to, so that we can work on flood recovery and growth for the future, we're looking to go back to DEMA to get money to go back and do the projects that the funding was shifted, that are the growth projects. So if that is clear as mud. But we'll come, and we're just giving you a heads up today that we're looking at 4 million sewer, 2 million water. We'll come back and have a much more extensive as the project list and what that all means. But I thought it was important to let you know, because this is all about where we're getting the money. WIFA is very good at helping us out.
Two more things I just wanted to add. When we talk about the sediment removal, through the Pinal Creek, but also we've included on the, our visiting sites and with the groups, we look at Hackney, McMillan Wash, McCormick Wash. We're looking at all these feeders, because actually when we had the flooding event, every one of them actually topped the bridges in every direction. I think that's what made it so significant, where normally it's just one or the other, or sometimes two or three, but this time we had them all. So for the public, for yourselves, mayor and council, I think it's important that we are including those areas, because there's areas that right now that we've documented, visited, and we'll be doing additional work, and those are part of the sediment removal group, even by Hagen Road, that wash there as well. And then just to top off, Travis and the engineering staff did apply for a bridge formula program and requested 4.2 million. Prior, they were already working on that for the Haskins Bridge. So those are other alternate things that are actually beyond just this list, the NRCS and all this other funding, where we applied also for the Yuma Bridge. When I met with the Federal Highway Group, they indicated, because it's over 460,000 for the repairs on Yuma Bridge, they said it'd probably help us in our application if we look to, when we opted not to just do that type of repair, we would actually look to replace the bridge because of its needs. The sidewalk still needs to replace, so they said it'd probably help our application in that time. That way we look to replace it, and our match would probably be better spent to replace the bridge rather than just repair it, because it still is, at a low score on the bridge, program.
So, unless you have any other questions for John. So, John, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay. And then Kendall's our second to last.
I'll be quick.
Well, he's got the glamour stuff. He's got the propane tank.
Yeah, I got propane and debris, mayor and council. So I've been tasked with to discuss our TDMS site and propane tanks, the ongoing projects that we have there. There isn't much headway moving on that. We're still trying to vet vendors with removing the debris. I don't know if everybody's familiar with how the debris works. It's very, very complicated on if we want to get reimbursed through DEMA or FEMA, how this works. Lots of pictures, lots of photos, lots of documentation. As we know, there's a lot of cheating with these companies. They build companies off of these flood events. So they come in and they prey on us and they build these companies. So we have to do our diligence to make sure that that doesn't happen so we can get the funding. So right now we're in that process of vetting companies. I think we're tied up with ADEQ on how we're supposed to test. Originally, we were supposed to test for lead, asbestos, things like that. But now they're telling the companies that we have to do some E. coli stuff like that. So the confusing thing with this is it's not as easy as grab garbage and throw it in the dumpster. We have to separate everything. So we have to separate white goods from household chemicals, construction debris, branches, things like that. One of the positive things, one of our cohorts down in Superior is going to take all of our wood. So our trees and things like that, and they're going to burn it because they have an incinerator down there. So I don't believe they're going to be charging us for that, but that's,
So,
we'll see.
So,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Mayor, members of council, we're looking at what it's going to cost to do it the paperwork way, with all of the testing but all the documentation, where to get the load, how did it go all that way. If that is too onerous, we are also we're gonna look at that, but cost effectively look at what if we don't go after getting reimbursed on this, and what would it take to test it, sort it, test it, and then ship it to the people who will take that type of material and just do it on their own dime. It may be worth it just to, you know, we could, if we can pay a flat rate that we know right now out of pocket versus putting 3 times that in the DEMA list and keeping our fingers crossed for, that we don't get dinked on some technical aspect. We may do it not internally, but we may do it ourselves without seeking reimbursement and save some time. We won't save money, but we'll save some time, and we won't be sitting on pins and needles waiting for the reimbursement check. But we're not sure yet.
We have about 200 cubic meters of material, which sounds like a lot, but it's not very much in the grand scheme of things.
I mean, this is like 1/10 of the county.
And some of our original quotes were upwards of $1 million just to remove that stuff. So
The county's
that's kind of
looking
where
at-
we're like,
So 3 million, the county's looking at
Yep.
3 million to get, and we think
Yeah.
we can do it
And we got-
300,000 or less.
yeah, so, but the propane tanks, on the other hand, I've seen some movement up there with the site. I'm not 100% sure if the brothers are moving them, but they are marking the tanks, so I think they're getting ready to go ahead and move those tanks.
We have various staff members have conversations, John's had conversations, and we've seen that. And so that's on our to-do list, is to go and visit with them and see what their plan is. They have a year to get them off of there, and then we'll take action. But our agreement says they cannot move them back down to their local site. They have a site in Rye, and I think they're taking action, but we will have a more comprehensive follow-up, probably individual discussion about the saga of the tanks.
Debris is pretty complicated when it comes to.
I think if you offered them $5, you could have one.
Categories.
So,
There's categories and things like that, so I think if we have a flood event again, we'll be better prepared. We won't just let everything go to one site, we'll push it off to the side, because then that's categorized differently, and we can pick it up and dump it immediately. So just different things you learn. But any questions?
Thank you. Go one more slide to the.
Thank you, Ken.
Appreciate you guys, thank you.
Nope, oh. Nope, keep the other way, other way. Growth projects, that's it. You can tell where I stole the PowerPoint from. It was Citizens Academy PowerPoint I stole. Growth projects we're still working on. This is a lot. You've seen a lot, and you know that. On the screen right now are the things that we're still working on. And so fire station funding, that's going to be pushed back. We were going to start in the spring. We're probably going to go to September, August, September to work on that. But that is going to happen. The important thing is we get the 27 budget lined up and get a handle, but it should be, it's not directly reliant on a lot of the funding issues here. We have a plan. It's just a matter of getting the messaging. I think what council would like to know is have a better handle on the money for the flood before we go making the decision on that. But the plan remains the same. And so I think we're about 4 months is what we're pushing back on. Ladder truck, no disruption. That ladder is going to be here, and one way or another, we will get the money to do that. If we're still seeking, how much are we up to?
1.5.
1.2, and we need to get to 2.5?
Yep.
Yeah, so we're inking our way there, and we have a plan B if that doesn't happen, totally. Michelson Building, keep going forward. We're still having meetings. I will tell you that some of the 25 million that the county is asking for flood recovery includes a small portion of economic development funding that may assist on this project. So that might be a solution too, but we're still moving forward on that. Jess Hay sidewalks, no disruptions. Fairgrounds water line, that is mainly to staffing changes at the Army Corps, and some disruption there. So we have a meeting Thursday, I think, tomorrow. Yeah, to meet the new project manager. McCormick Tunnel, that was disrupted due to the shutdown and funding cuts funding that just went away. Safe Streets grants, there were some external problems, but we're back on track there. ADOT sidewalks, no additional disruptions. We're in the process. Remember, we halted on the smaller one. We kicked it out a year. Yuma Bridge, this may enhance, as John said, enhance our replacement options. Same with Haskins. Haven Building, no disruptions, we're going forward on that. And then Municipal Property Corporation, while all this is going on, we're taking on some new stuff, which I think is important. Our hallmark has been our ability, when an opportunity comes, we're able to jump on it and take advantage of it. And in the middle of a flood, the Municipal Property Corporation is happening, and we're gonna jump on it and try to take advantage of it. There'll be more to come. So, and we'll go over more of this in the strategic action plan, but yes, we're covering the flood, we're dividing and conquering, we're gonna get that taken care of, but we're still working on the projects that are gonna make Globe, continue to grow. Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you so much for allowing us this amount of time.
Fernando? Yeah.
I just want to make a comment, because I think, being a small town, sometimes it's hard to be sophisticated and professional. I'm just so impressed on how well our staff has responded and what they've been able to do and meet all these deadlines, and that's, some of that stuff is technical, and you guys have just done an amazing job, and I'm just so proud of all of you. So I'm just.
Well, thank you. Everybody has pitched in.
I have the same comment, and I share your pain. Back in '93, after that flood, I was burning the midnight oil, adjusting and readjusting figures to submit to FEMA. We'd had bones of contention, and I had to go back and rework spreadsheets back in the old days. And over and over and over, many nights, reconfiguring, getting to new numbers, and then ready for presentation to FEMA ASAP. So I congratulate you for putting up with that and for being successful. Once again, you've taken another project on, and you've really have done a tremendous job with just that one response and all the other things that we're tasking you before we walk into September 26th. So you're to be congratulated, and I really am proud of you all. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I want to thank staff too. Just, it's a testimony to our staff on everything that's being done. If people really understood the complexity and the details of everything that's happening, and if we didn't have the staff several years ago. Now the staff that we built is very committed to this community, and there's no way it would have been done. And we really appreciate it. The community should appreciate the work that you guys are doing.
And out of transparency, we have the website up. We have a flood recovery website. We're putting the documents that we talked about today, the letters, everything will go on there as a central repository of information. And people have questions, transparency is important too, because it is hard. We're hunkered down to get this done. No one sees that.
Yeah, right. Good.
Jesse wants to table item G.
Okay. You want a motion then? Okay. Item G is City of Globe staff will present council with section 15-4-1 of the City of Globe, which prohibits the use of scooters and sidewalks or roadways for discussion.
Motion to table that and bring it up in future agenda items.
Second.
We have motion and second to table item G for future agenda item. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion passed. Move into consent agenda. And item 5A is consideration of waiver of section 2-4-10A prior discussion rule to allow action on the balance of the consent agenda. We have accounts payable at $741,447.88. We have consideration of approval of council minutes, September 27, 2025 emergency meeting minutes, September 23rd, 2025 meeting minutes. B, consideration to ratify the City of Globe letter of support for the appeal of the federal declaration request made by the state of Arizona related to the September 2025 flood event. Item C, consideration to award contract number CS 2026-0092 to Pumpman Phoenix to replace the community pool and motor for the amount of $6,358.63 plus an additional $1,500 in contingency for possible freight charges for a total amount of $7,858.63. Funds of this project are budgeted from account 106751242 equipment repairs. Item D, consideration to ratify contract CS 2026-0070 to Convenient Mobile Services LLC executed under the City of Globe's Emergency Declaration, Resolution number 1912, for emergency flood debris clearing, loading service, and use of heavy equipment necessitated by the September 26, 2025 flood event, for a total contractual amount of $9,508.55. 75% of this cost will be reimbursed by DEMA, contingent on eligibility requirements through account 208008008 DEMA 2025 flood. The remaining 25% will be from account 10551296 DEMA 2025 flood match. Is there anybody from council, staff, or the public wishing to remove any of these items for separate consideration?
Mr. Mayor, if there's no request to pull anything, I would make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items as presented tonight.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda as read. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes. New business, item 6A is public hearing and consideration to approve Arizona Department of Liquor License number 090400016, location transfer for the Safeway store located at 240 South Hill Street, Globe, Arizona. Shelley.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the liquor license application before you is for the Safeway store. This is not a new liquor license. This is a location transfer. They do have a license in place. However, they needed to re-qualify for that location, and I'm not real sure what that means, but I do have Stacy Gonzalez, who is the liquor paralegal for the Safeway chain, online, and I'm sure that she can explain where that location was transferred from or why that came about.
Okay.
Stacy, can you hear us?
Actually, Shelley, Ryan Anderson, I'm the attorney.
Oh,
Stacy's my paralegal. I'm the lawyer for Safeway Albertsons.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can completely explain. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. This is a liquor license application, but there's already a license there at the Safeway. This is a second license going into this location. This second license will be an inactive license, but will enable Safeway Albertsons to have a license in Gila County that can be deployed if necessary for a new location. So there's not a new application. It's a new application, there's no new license. There's already a license at this location.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Chad.
So this license, Ryan, would effectively bring it into Gila County that in the essence, if you wanted to open another branch of Safeway, you could move this secondary license to that location, correct?
Correct. That is exactly, if you have a two license, you can have multiple nines in one location in the county, and so you can then expand in the county without having to then locate and purchase a license at the time of your expansion. This is a very common element in the management of these large liquor licensing clients who have large retail operations to enable expansion in the county to have multiple Series 9 licenses available.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Is there a critical need that needs to take place or to waive the rules, or can put it to the next agenda items, the new business?
No, I would ask council to waive the prior discussion rule and approve.
Mr. Mayor, if there are no other questions or comments, I'd motion to approve item 6A as read and waive section 2-4-10A prior discussion rule.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of item 6A. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you, Ryan.
online.
Item 6B, consideration to approve resolution 1924, approving the amended bylaws for the City of Globe Municipal Property Corporation and request to waive section 2-4-10A prior discussion rule. Shelley, can you read resolution 1924, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Resolution number 1924, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the City of Globe, Gila County, Arizona, approving the amended bylaws of the City of Globe Municipal Property Corporation. Is council pleased with that reading?
Yes.
So, Mr. Mayor, members of council, the Property Corporation has asked to make some adjustments on there. We have discussed them, and while it is a recommendation from Municipal Property Corporation, it is up to council to approve those items to make this official. As you know, we're adjusting the membership and qualifications and requirements and things like that. I don't know if you want a detailed analysis or we'd like to just go ahead. This has been vetted by the attorney also.
I think we reviewed it. Everybody reviewed that? Are we good with that?
Yep.
Do we have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve resolution number 1924, Mayor.
And waive the rule?
And waive section 2-4-10.
Second?
Motion second for approval, item 6B. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Action item 7A, consideration to approve an Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs DEMA budget adjustment of $150,000 to increase account number 10551296 DEMA 2025 flood match and reduce account number 1055530002 capital project reserve for the 25% match on all invoices paid for projects on the 60-day list, which calculates a total of approximately $150,000, meeting the financial match needs for the fiscal year 26 without impacting any contingency funds, and request to waive section 2 prior discussion rule. Danny.
Okay, as we discussed before, I mean, we had bills that we had to pay regardless, it was emergency. And you have the spreadsheet in front of you showing exactly what that is. As you can see on that spreadsheet, the general fund payments for the bills that have already currently been paid is around $125,000. We have to have that 25% match. So in order to do that, this money is sitting in the capital project reserve, which is already budgeted. This will have no effect whatsoever on the budget. We're just moving it basically from one account to the other account, so increasing the expenditure ability of that match account from the, by reducing the capital project reserve account.
That's right. So when the money comes in from the match, if we were to get it from DEMA, then it would go back into that by council action, correct?
No, this is just, we have to pay 25% regardless. So the money that's coming back is gonna be the 75% that we've paid out already, not the 25. This 25% is our responsibility for the payments of the invoices we've already paid.
What do we normally use, sorry, Mayor, if we could, what do we normally use this fund for, just for capital improvement, just expenditures?
At this point, this was the rainy day fund that was set aside in case we had something come up where we needed to have a little extra cash that we didn't. Like I said, it's already been budgeted, so it's not taking from the budget at all in any.
It's just moving the line item to line item.
The contingency, it is just moving it from one line item to the other, basically.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, to Councilman Letham's question, we had the 3 million match for the council, but then we had administrative 150,000, although the mayor said it's all you guys' money. But that was for these kind of low-hanging fruits, so we didn't have to touch your pot of money. And so we're moving that on this account item. Now, but not to be disappointed, the next item will go into the council 3 million.
Okay.
Questions?
I'm just trying to remember what that amount was when we baked that in.
Well, the 150,000 was.
It was 150?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no one got to it before we did on this. And there's some projects we would have done.
That's a full amount, including 75 and 25, including our match, 150,000.
Our match is gonna be at this point, is sitting at 125,000.
Okay.
That's our match.
That's our match.
We're looking to possibly be reimbursed for the 375,000 that we've already
Okay.
paid out.
Mayor, no other questions or comments, I will motion to approve item 7A is read and waive section 2-4-10A prior discussion rule.
Second.
Motion second for approval of item 7A. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Item 7B, consideration to approve the National Resources Conservation Service NRCS budget adjustment of $150,000 in anticipation of the approval of the Civil Tech contract. Staff is requesting council to approve $150,000 budgetary transfer and expenditure authority from account 1055530000 contingency undesignated to account number 10555129 NRCS matching funds, thereby reducing the current balance of undesignated contingency from $2,779,816 to $2,629,816 for fiscal year 26. Additional match funds will be budgeted for fiscal year 27 if needed.
And this one here is for the NRCS project that we talk about for the sediment removal. Well, and like he stated, at this time, we don't necessarily need it because his services are covered 100% due to my misunderstanding. However, we're looking at possibly having to have $5 million in there. So, if a little start is good, you know, I mean, we have a lot of money we have to come up with. So if we can move just this little bit, it is moving from the $3 million contingency, which we have already at this point dipped into just a little. But it is possible with the future budget, with the FY27 budget, with possible budget savings, we can replenish that, so.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, this time, we are breaking up the moving of the contingency fund from the actual expenditure that requires a contingency fund. Just because this is so complicated, these agendas help us keep track of everything we've done. And so, and sometimes we'll wrap that up, where we'll move the money and spend it at the same time. We're moving the money here, and then Travis is gonna spend it for you.
So at this point, it's a placeholder at this point.
Yes, well, no, it's a move of the money, but we're not addressing, council's not approving what will be hitting this line item, which will be very soon.
Okay, all right. It's just moving it, but it's not going anywhere right now. It's not being.
No, because if you don't approve the other contract, then it'll be safe. Well, actually, because of the 100% cover, because of the technical assistance, it may not be hit at all. So until we get into, there's different things coming, but we do want to move this and have a starting pool of money.
Right. Mr. Mayor, if there are no comments or questions, I motion that we approve this item as read.
Second.
We have motion second for approval of item 7B. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Item C is discussion and consideration to approve contract number CA 2026-0068 with Civil Tech Engineering Incorporated to provide construction manager at risk process assistance for Upper Canal Creek flood mitigation activities for a total not to exceed $10,000. 75% of the cost will be reimbursed through the Emergency Watershed Protection Program funding administered by the Natural Resources Conservation Services on eligibility requirements through account 2080080009 NRCS sediment removal. The remaining 25% is currently scheduled to be funded through account 10555129 NRCS matching fund and the possibility of a waiver to the match requirement. Travis.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. I apologize for that being such a long read, but it's important to get that information.
We shortened it, actually.
So this is the first contract that we mentioned in the presentation, so for the CMAR process assistance by Civil Tech.
Mr. Mayor, if no other questions or comments, I motion to approve contract number CA 2026-0068, item 7C as read.
Second.
Motion second for approval of item 7C. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passed. Item D is discussion and consideration to approve contract number CA 2026-0069 with Civil Tech Engineering Incorporated to provide engineering services on the Upper Pinal Creek for a total not to exceed $1,160,660, 75% of the cost will be reimbursed from the Emergency Watershed Protection Program funding administered by Natural Resources Conservation Services on eligibility requirements through account 2080080009 NRCS sediment removal. The remaining 25% is currently scheduled to be funded through account number 105551297 NRCS matching fund with a possibility of a waiver to the match requirement.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. This is the second of the two that mentioned in the presentation for the engineering services that they will be provided under the CMAR process.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, like I say, it may turn out that the technical assistance will cover this 100%, but this will not be the only thing hitting that account. But with that, that 150 may make it all the way to July, which we hope. So we'll have to see. I hope, well, actually, hopefully we're getting construction bills in sooner than that, so.
Okay.
And then Chris, of course, is here, representing CivTech, if you have any questions, additional questions.
Mayor,
Yeah, Fernando.
Before Jesse makes a motion, I'd like to make that motion.
The $1 million.
Be quick on it.
Gotta get some action on this side.
What was that, a motion?
Yes.
Then I'll second that. Then I'll second that.
No, I second it.
Oh, you second it, all right.
We got a motion, a second for item 7D. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Thank you, Travis. Any late agenda items?
No, there are no late agenda items.
Second call to the public?
Let's see here. I think, let's see what the date is on this. Yes, we do have one, that was emailed here. I'm gonna do my best to read this. This is from Marsha O'Brien, Mayor and Council. I am appalled at the comments being made online regarding the council, especially a member of council. Does he know people are writing stuff like this? It is not right to talk of the council like people are tonight. I am shocked. Is this Globe talking like this on the live comments? It is not right. I have most respect for the Globe Council. I hope I did not read things wrong, but it sure looks like I hit it with a big shock that people are reacting like this. And this Marcia's Camel. Give thanks to you each day. So, and I edited I didn't want to read out the names. So, okay. And this is for, so that's, you email it, we read it. Yeah. Okay.
So she was talking to comments online?
Comments made on the live stream.
On the live stream, okay.
About us?
About
On
a certain council member.
On our
about
live
us.
stream? Yeah. I don't read those.
Yeah.
Okay.
You read it? Huh? You read it?
No. But that's
I
what she
don't,
said.
we'll look into it.
Yeah, if you
but
can
I
look
don't-
at
I don't
it,
know what we don't filter.
No.
Okay. Scheduling of meetings?
Nothing other than we know we're doing, SAP on February 4th, 11 to 4.
Okay.
Maybe it's 11 to 3, 11 to 4?
11 to 4.
11 to 4.
At Hill Street, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And our next meeting is still Wednesday for this month?
Yes, both January meetings have been pushed to the Wednesday, so the next will be, regular council meeting will be the 28th of June, not January.
January.
January. Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
No, it would be like a marathon.
Yeah.
Future agenda items?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, if you could bring back
Item G.
Item G 1541, the code. I just wanted to bring it up because it's been on the books since 2009, and with us increasing foot traffic downtown, I think it's just nice to look at that code, see what it is, see if it fits within best practices and council's intent.
Okay.
So if we could bring that back.
Bring it back, okay.
And then Mr. Mayor, members of council, I have full intention to bring back an item where we relook at the business license code 8.1. It is muddled. It has some areas where it's silent. It it goes back on each other, it contradicts itself. Yeah, yeah.
It is
as-
awful. Paul and I have been at it for about a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah,
Back
so-
and forth for a month
yeah.
on this.
Yeah.
And so.
And it'd be good for us to
And I
understand
think
it too,
would be-
'cause,
I think it'd
yeah.
be great to look at it, see what it looks like, see what this council's intent is, and I think from that code, it was brought up from, what'd you say, Payson, and it was a.
Yeah,
copy and
it's
paste, and-
all over eastern
yeah,
Arizona,
and
and
it
it needs to be,
doesn't
needs to be
fit with
fixed.
What we're doing, and I think that I think it
And
behooves
so
staff and council and our business community to look at that and make it into.
our business license, and what we've done is there was a administrative requirement of providing documentation on any type of state or county licensing. It was in conflict with the code, and so we removed that requirement, and I will follow up with call the public person and let them know. And we are currently alerting everyone that requirement has been paused for this cycle.
Okay.
So we still need TPT information, but we don't need to have the documentation on the licensing. And then it's something we will have a conversation when we go to relook at the whole code.
Okay, good. Anybody else have any future agenda items? Okay, do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Motion made.
Motion second to go into E-session. All those in favor say aye.
Oh, can we go back?
Go back?
Yes.
No, we're in session.
Okay.
Session for a future agenda item. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
So, Mayor, I did forget to ask, there is a retention strategy for supporting employees that to help them stay at the city of Globe. It is used by many other cities. There is a company called Educational Services, Inc., and they allow people to take their retirement and then actually come back and work for the city. And that is something that we would offer to help employees that are towards the end of their career, to incentivize them to stay with the city and continue to work for the city, so we have that, and they would offer that to anybody who qualify that. There's about 20 cities that are using it now: Scottsdale, Peoria, and Tempe. I don't know about Tempe, but it's a very helpful program. And I would like to ask council if I can bring forward a presentation about a incentive program using Educational Services, which is a third-party vendor that you can retire and then rehire through that program, and then we come back to the city without the 2020 rule. So you can come back as a full-time employee, continue on with your work, and it benefits the employee and it benefits the employer because we can retain good employees. And so just let you know that Educational Services, Inc. is something that we are hoping to bring back and give you more information about.
It's kind of what we have with PSPRS and our public safety.
It's like the drop
Yeah,
program.
it's like a drop program really is what
Yeah.
it is. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, but and thank you for reversing yourself. I know it's been a long night, and I've never seen you guys closer to saying no.
I'll move to go into executive.
So thank you.
Motion second to go into executive session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anything?